Today, other interesting cultural news, you have Anheuser Busch Clydesdale added flops getting one comment in 7 hours and two comments in 24 hours. Although just one if you consider that one other comment was from me. Now, go ahead without further ado, pop that up on the screen there. And as you can see, this ad probably would have worked maybe several years ago, back before the controversy, and they lost 1.4 billion dollars in sales after spending $185,000 to hire Dylan Mulvaney as a brand ambassador. Perhaps the largest negative ROI or return on investment in business history when it comes to a marketing campaign. I can't help but think, all the other ones are you could debate is worse than that, were smaller fiscally, but they did put the companies out of business. Now that being said, Anheuser-Busch InBev has 40 plus beer brands in their portfolio, multi-billion-dollar company. They're not going to go out of business anytime soon. Now they have a futile attempt to try to increase their sales with some of this old cliche marketing. This one has a couple pictures of, I guess they didn't put the pronouns, so I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess women and Clydesdale horses. And this is from Anheuser-Busch, their specific profile on X Twitter, and they say, quote, "When Budweiser USA Clydesdales aren't bringing people together at a parade or stadium, they're being cared for by a team whose resilience and determination embody the American spirit, turning moments into memories for 40,000 communities across America. That's who we are," unquote. Though, grammatically speaking, they should probably alter it to say, "That's who we were." Because again, for 30% of the market for Bud Light buyers, you pissed them off to the point where they'll never buy your product again. Even if the CEO for the former CIA operative Brendan Whitworth comes out and says, we made a mistake, we messed up, I acknowledge I'm a moron, or mentally vacuous perhaps is a nicer way of saying it, I don't think they might get 5% of their sales back, but they're not going to get a majority of that 30% that they so brilliantly lost thanks to Alyssa Heiderchild, the proud VP of marketing who thought hiring Dylan was a good idea and targeting children is a good idea. Celebrating 365 days of womanhood, terrible idea, of course. Of course, obvious to everyone, including perhaps a horse. Pun and reference to this part of the show intended. Now, again, I don't know who's in charge of the marketing, but in terms of if you're going to pick someone to embody your brand, this is who they chose. Let me pull this up really quick. So say a fairly large gal, and she's wearing a polo, so not F minus for marketing, but I want to say maybe D, because as we know, all men always suit up. Well, perhaps maybe dress. And she's wearing khakis, which some people call kahikis. That's a little fancy. Going up to the Gap, Old Navy. I see what you're going there, but you're also on a farm. I don't think farmers wear khakis or polos. I mean, how is she not wearing a flannel, shirt and a cowboy hat? She is hatless, folks. This is a gal. She's holding the reins to two horses. They're the cute cliche Clydesdale horses that they used to have a successful brand around those horses for decades, which is brilliant because again, with horses you don't have to pay them a salary or anything. That's a brilliant brand ambassador. And I was gonna say most people probably think horses they look pretty close. So if one dies and another one rises from the grave, or more accurately is born, there's not going to be much backlash and consumers getting angry because you switched to brand ambassador like you would for some type of human actor or a cliche celebrity. So that's one of the pictures they chose was they're on the farm. She's holding the reins for two Clydesdales. Another one is another gal with the same uniform. It's khaki pants and a polo. Again, on a farm, and she's inside doing something with their hair. Hilariously enough, they still have the message that says a little disclaimer in the top corner, and it says message for 21 plus, insinuating this is supposed to be for more mature people. And yet they paid Dylan Mulvaney $185,000, whose audience member is about 15 years old on TikTok, to sell beer. Ironic, interesting. Another picture is a contrarian. She's not wearing the red polo. She's wearing a blue polo, which you cannot even see a company logo on the sleeve. F minus for marketing. How do you not have a logo there? I should probably put one on my laptop for my tech company, but nevertheless, I have a logo on screen that you can see. And yet, she has a blue polo, but she's smiling, kind of. I mean, she kind of looks dead inside. She's smiling without showing teeth, kind of like a grimace. Probably because she works there. But she's holding the horse. Then the last of the photo collage is maybe a guy with a hat, and he's holding the reins of the horse, which, I mean, he's pretty petite. I almost thought he was a jockey. But, I mean, granted, I'm not an equestrian connoisseur, but I know you don't use Clydesdale horses for racing. You use them for carrying your mediocre beer. Uphill both ways, obviously, if it's, back in my day. And yet he's just standing there awkwardly, wearing a weird cowboy. It's not even a cowboy hat, it's just a baseball hat. A baseball hat inside a farm. Who's in charge of their fashion, folks? Because that is F minus. Now, didn't go viral. Quite the antithesis. It got 2 comments. That's it. I might be a little biased, granted, but I think the first comment is probably the best one. It's from a handsome gentleman. He's named The Topping Show, in which he says, 1 year, 1.4 billion in lost sales. These old ad themes aren't working. Not sure if you are outsourcing marketing, but whoever is in charge isn't helping turn the horse carriage around, unquote. A+ for wordplay. Turn around, turn things around. Use a horse carriage reference. Obviously, I'm biased because it's me. But that was one comment. It got 0 likes. Unless I like it myself. Oh, it got 1 like from myself. But in all seriousness, it only got 10 views, which is also nothing. Now, Anheuser Busch, they got 1,907 views. If we scroll up there. Yeah, they got 35 likes. I don't know who's liking this, but they got 2 comments. One's from me with the tumbleweed gif, or as the youth might say, a gif. And the other one is Budweiser replying, which, again, they own that brand. They said, quote, couldn't do it without them, unquote, getting 7 likes. They also used the beer glass emoji. And yet, I mean, technically, pretty much, all their beer is transported via trucks these days, so you could certainly do it without them. I'm not even sure their sales would be hit by 1% if they were to come out and just say we're done with the Clydesdale theme. Now, Budweiser did get 7 likes, and it looks like they even got a response from the name of Teresa. So you got someone named Teresa responding with, what is it? The beer stein emoji. And her name is, let's see, is she a real person? It's just some type of robot or someone who's mentally vacuous or both. Let's see, go to Teresa's profile. Her name is I'm Not Your Cup of Tea. So I guess she's British. And what do you know? She just wants free crap. So she's reposting for Budweiser, some gift card, Bud Light. Look at all this. She wants to win tickets to more sports balls games with Budweiser. She's just reposting for all this free crap. An opportunity to win Captain Crunch, which, if you're over 12 years old, why are you eating Captain Crunch? It's just sugar in a can, or more accurately, sugar in a bowl. She wants to win sports ball tickets, gift cards. So the one response I got, with the exception of me, was from someone who just wants free gift cards and free crap. I don't think that's really off. Is that really building your brand? Have they made any additional money off this advertisement? Presumably they paid someone to take those pictures. They paid someone to probably edit them, change not the font of a picture, but change the darkness or the tone. They invested resources into this, post. And yet, the 2 responses, one came from Budweiser, and the response to that comment was from someone who just wants free stuff. With myself being the one of 2 original comments. I don't want to say the brand is dead, but on social media, it's on life support. The only time they ever get anything more than a couple comments is when they're giving away free crap, which then you have all the people, it has to be some type of automated service, but you have all the people who just automatically seemingly reply like whatever hashtag they want so they could win a case of Bud Light, which Lord only knows what you would do with that case, considering I don't think many people would want to drink it. Can't help but think, well, what would you do if you quote-unquote won a case of Bud Light? Perhaps the perfect analogy for being a winner and a loser at the same time. Personally, I guess you could use my favorite example, where I think I've thought of 20 on the show thus far. If I were to win one of those contests, I suppose you could use it for ballast if you're a hot air balloonist, wherein, the higher you want to go, sometimes you get rid of weight. In the old days, you use sandbags. In this case, you use Bud Light. So that way you decrease the weight of the hot air balloon and you go up higher. Now, in this case, you would cut off the case of Bud Light and the case would fall to the ground. However, the case of beer could hit someone in the head, which would be arguably less detrimental to their health than if they were to actually consume the product. So heaven forbid, what if the Bud Light case hit someone in the head, and in doing so, it ruptured the can and leaked into the person's mouth. Now that, I mean, I can't think of many experiences that would be more unpleasant than that. But, I mean, ballast for a hot air balloon, that is something you could use it for. But let me know, what do you think this was an effective marketing campaign? And what would you do if you won a case of Bud Light? Do you also use it as ballast for a hot air balloon? Or, I mean, what would you do with that if you were to win it? As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.